Economists are probably the worst predictors of the future. Peter Schiff, for example, became famous for predicting the global financial crisis back in 2007. Ever since then, he has been desperately trying to predict economic catastrophes every other day. In 2010, he predicted the United States would soon experience hyperinflation, which would lead to the destruction of the US dollar and the fall of the country. Of course, that could still happen. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. But now these super smart economists have all kinds of brilliant predictions on how artificial intelligence will affect the global economy in the future. It's June 2024, and you're watching the 6th episode of Money Boost. More than any other factor, productivity has been proven to determine the wealth and living standards of countries. The higher the productivity is, the more manageable problems such as poverty and health become. Of course, you can already use ChatGPT to write your work emails today, but is AI actually going to increase productivity as much as some people think? One scenario is that AI is just another overhyped product of Silicon Valley. The productivity increase with AI in the real world could turn out to be very small and much slower than some funding-hungry tech CEOs promise right now, and those workers who actually do get replaced could end up in jobs where they are less productive, and in the end, the benefits to the economy wouldn't even exist. We've had other things like 3D printers, virtual reality, and self-driving cars that were supposed to quickly come and change the world, but many of these things have ended up being less promising and less ready to bring to the market than first hoped. Economist Robert Solow famously said in 1987 that you can see the computer age everywhere but in the productivity statistics. Of course, since then, computers have become much more advanced, and in some things definitely increased productivity. I mean, imagine if, instead of emailing, you still had to manually write a letter with a pen and then tie it to a pigeon or something. The Solow, or the productivity paradox, refers to the fact that despite advancements in information technology, there was no corresponding increase in productivity at the national level. There are some arguments that the way productivity is measured is wrong, and that it just takes a longer time until any significant change can be measured. But for now, the productivity increase in the US still continues to slow down. I guess boomers are right when they say that young people today are lazy. Right now, there are all kinds of cool AI tools to have fun with, but using them in business to become more productive might be another story. Maybe I'm just coping because AI will be able to make better YouTube videos than me soon. But could AI actually become as big as Sam Altman and some other people are promising? Another, much more optimistic depending on who you ask, scenario is that AI indeed leads to a much higher productivity future. A future where AI will be used for a large portion of tasks done by most workers, and massively boost productivity in those tasks. This future could be optimistic in the eyes of most people if, instead of taking people's jobs, AI would simply complement workers, freeing them to focus on non-routine creative tasks. Replacing these boring, monotone tasks that suck the soul out of you would definitely be a good thing. For this to happen, AI needs to be implemented in real-life robots too, not just software. There are companies like Figure, Boston Dynamics, and even Tesla that are working on humanoid robots powered by AI. Some of these are pretty impressive already. Each passing day, we're getting closer to girlfriend robots. I already shorted Tinder stock with all my money. Robots and automation are already widely used in many industries, but these robots are pre-programmed to do a specific task and often use very little or no AI at all. AI is getting better fast, and the development is only gaining speed as time goes by. Right now, it looks like the software side of things is way ahead of actual physical robots that could replace factory workers, for example, but a day when robots start replacing some jobs at a fast pace is almost certainly coming. What exactly would be the economic consequences of this? One concern is that income inequality is only getting higher. AI will likely substitute many kinds of human labor, driving down the wages of workers. Generative AI could start replacing some of the jobs that still today are seen as non-routine or creative. Even some entire industries could be mostly replaced by AI. Imagine AI being so advanced that it could actually write interesting movie scripts, and then generate the whole movie in just seconds. Unless someone accidentally presses the nuclear launch button and the world ends within a few years, I think we are actually going to see AI-generated movies pretty soon. All this doesn't necessarily mean a future of mass unemployment, but a future where many decently paying jobs are replaced by AI, and these people will end up having to take low-paying service jobs where human presence is still valued, or just become unemployed alcoholics. Highly skilled people would probably still have high-paying jobs, but middle-income jobs would become rarer, increasing income inequality. So basically, a future of billionaire CEOs and TikTok influencers. Nothing in between. Or maybe not, because some researchers and economists say that AI could pretty much have the opposite effect. Their idea is that AI would mostly help the least experienced workers to be better at their jobs. For example, inexperienced software coders could use some AI tools. Well, they already do, to become comparable to more experienced coders, even if the experienced coders too use the same exact tools. This would bring everyone to a similar level and decrease income inequality. There was a study done where 5,000 workers who do complex customer assistance jobs at a call center were given access to an AI tool to help with their jobs. The result was that it was most helpful to the least skilled or newest workers and increased their productivity the most. So maybe there's hope for these iPad kids to become useful one day. But what about companies? Would advanced AI models help every company equally, or just the biggest ones? Since the early 1980s, industrial concentration, which basically means the market share of the largest companies in a sector, has risen a lot in the US and around the world. The reason for that is probably the fact that these large companies are much more capital intensive and technologically advanced compared to smaller companies. So they just have more resources to compete. The question is, will AI bring everyone to a more level playing field, or is it only going to further give larger companies an edge? In one possible scenario, industrial concentration keeps increasing because larger companies will be able to use AI better, and advanced AI models will be so expensive to develop that only large companies will be able to do that. Of course, there are some AI tools available for everyone, but those AI tools that will actually make a big difference in business are limited to their developers, or at least to those who purchase expensive licenses. This already happens to some extent, but the chances are that it will only get more common in the future. A second scenario is a much more positive one. In this case, even advanced AI models become available for everyone due to the open source AI ecosystem. A leaked Google research suggests that open source models are faster, more customizable, more private, and pound for pound more capable than private models. It's possible that AI will give the chance and encourage smaller companies to close or even reverse the technology gap with the larger companies, gaining some market share in places where it just wasn't possible before. So these were the thoughts of some random researchers and economists. Two possible scenarios in terms of productivity increase, income inequality, and industrial concentration. One negative and one positive. I guess this all just depends on which direction the AI development will lead. It feels like naturally it would head to the negative side. So I think it's important to make some smart regulations, as long as they don't slow down the innovation, like in the EU, where they still haven't done anything worth mentioning in AI because they are busy regulating it instead. There's definitely a lot of uncertainty about the future of AI. Personally, I'm already digging a bunker in my backyard, just like Mark Zuckerberg, to prepare for the day when a Tesla humanoid is knocking at my door for not paying my monthly Cybertruck installment. This was the 6th episode of Money Boost. Thanks for watching, and have a nice life.